Listen, obviously I want to get your thoughts about your match this weekend, but it seems at the moment everyone's talking about Liverpool. I'd like to get your thoughts on them being confirmed as champions, to have done what they've done and won it with 7 matches to go. Just how big an achievement is that?
I think it's pretty incredible, to be honest with you. And you know, since the lockdown occurred, one of the burning issues has been the very fact that Liverpool have deserved, I think in everybody's eyes, to be crowned champions. So it would have been a travesty had we not restarted and been able to win the title on merit, so to speak. So it's an amazing achievement by them, and I think everybody in football would applaud the way in which they've done it as well. They've done it in style for sure.
The Watford players aren't old enough to remember the last time that Liverpool were champions. I am, you are. Do you sense this isn't just a one-off? Do you sense that Liverpool are a force very much here to stay?
I would expect them to be, a very strong force for the foreseeable future. I think one of the beauties at the moment of the Premier League is that there is strong competition. I would think the resurgence of Manchester United will be very much on the cards if not next year, maybe the year after. They seem to be moving back towards a position of strength as well, and I think that's a good thing for the Premier League and football in general. You know, we cast our minds back to 2016 with Leicester's title. I mean, and that was something that I think ignited belief in other clubs that success is achievable. It's the Premier League's much better if there's stronger competition, I think. Yeah, for sure. But my concerns are very much on us now. So,
yeah, Liverpool lost only 1 match en route to the title. That was against Watford. You're the only manager to have beaten them in the Premier League this season. Is that something that you're still very proud of? And is it something you can draw on as inspiration for your remaining matches when everyone's talking
well, we
about
probably need to draw on it, of course, but it's gone now. That's in the past. It's 3 points that we picked up on a day where we weren't expected to pick any points up. Look, our focus now has to be very much on the present, and obviously last night, after a disappointing result for us, we want to bounce back pretty quickly. So, you know, the nature of being in relegation battles is one in which we need to stay very much focused on the job in hand, and we've got to take care of our own performances. But yeah, for sure, that when you reflect on performances that have been very, very good, I think that's the benchmark that you're aiming for. Not always achievable, and you know, I think teams are coming to terms with playing in a different sort of environment at the moment. So, just on reflecting on last night, we didn't hit the standards that we would like, and ironically, the second half performance was much improved, and we had opportunities to get something out of the game, and ended up losing the game 1-0. So it's important now that we just concentrate on fixtures coming up.
Did everyone come through it okay? Do you have any new injury concerns ahead of the weekend?
Not injury concerns, but we'll have a look again today at whether players have picked up anything that's not necessarily a major problem, but the loading of players playing, you know, in the types of heat that we've been playing in is something that we need to be aware of, and for sure we don't have a very quick turnaround for the next game, but we're all dealing with the same situation. So it will be today a continuation of a recovery, and for the ones who need extra work, they'll get it, and then yeah, we're back into the preparation mode for our next game against Southampton.
Against Burnley, Danny Welbeck had his first start since October, played the full 90 minutes. I think the first time since you arrived that he's played the full 90. How important is he going to be moving forward? How big a contribution do you need from him?
We need a big contribution from everybody. I can't always guarantee pitch time to players for sure, because it really is about competition. It's about players when calling upon to bring their best to the team. Danny is a player with quality for sure, and we're very pleased to have him. I thought he did okay last night as well. So, like I say, I'll reiterate what I just said, and we will look at how the players are today and then tomorrow, and selection will be governed by what I feel is the best team to go out there on Sunday and try and get a result for us, try and get a home win.
You said you were bullied at Burnley. How do you ensure that doesn't happen again?
It was. I think the first half we didn't really get into our stride. We certainly weren't in the second half. I thought we bossed the game for long periods in the second half, but didn't convert situations. So, like I've already pointed out, our better performance was in the second half, and that's where we conceded the goal. So, I think at the moment what we've got to be looking at is being able to deal with opponents when they cause us problems when they go direct, and certainly converting chances is something that everybody's aware that you have to do, and we've certainly had our opportunities in the first two games since we've started back. So it's disappointing to have only picked up 1 point out of 2 games. But like I say, we have to analyse performance. But having said that, because of the quick turnaround now, it's about putting last night to bed today, and then we look forward to the game.
Southampton currently 37 points. Realistically, do you think they're safe?
I would think where they are at the moment, relatively speaking, yeah. But again, that's no guarantee, and it's no guarantee that they're a side with talented players, and they bounced back from a couple of disappointments earlier on in the season, and have made some real progress. We've just got to make sure that our game is close to our best, because if we do that, we've always got a chance of winning games. It doesn't matter who you play against, and so I've said it in previous interviews. How I measure our performance is against us, not really against our opponents. And if we get our own performance somewhere near our best, we've always got a chance, because we've got good players.
Sure. Listen, winning would get you on to 31 points. Psychologically, would that be important to be past the 30 barrier, the 30 mark?
Possibly. But again, I don't really think of it in those terms. We are looking to get as many points as we can out of our remaining games. And I know people want to look at the fixtures and probably decide which games you've got a better chance of winning in. For me, it's very much a case of preparing ourselves and having a single-minded approach regarding the next game. That's really what it's about at the moment. We can't spend too much time looking at or speculating on how things might look, bearing on what other people do. We've got to win enough of our own games. This is our next one. We just go into it with a positive frame of mind, and I'm looking for an improved performance, and one in which we give ourselves a good chance of winning, because I thought we did really well last week against Leicester. But again, we had opportunities to score and didn't take them. But responded very well to a late goal. You know, we've got some spirit within the squad and some good, resilient characters, but we need to bring that to the pitch every time we play.
Listen, thanks for your time.
Okay, my pleasure.
Nigel, wish you well. Good to speak with you.
Cheers.
Hi, Nigel. Vicky Sparks from PLP here. Good to see you.
Hi.
Just on Ismaïla Sarr, he scored his first Premier League goal for Watford in the reverse defeat at St Mary's earlier this season. How do you feel he's developed over your time here?
I can only look at it, you know, I can't compare it over a sustained period, but he's clearly a very talented player. He's a potential match winner just because of his attributes, pace and ability. So, you know, I've been very pleased with what he's brought to the team for sure. I'm pleased to have him for sure.
And I know it was before, obviously, you came in, the defeat at Southampton. It was a couple of late goals that did for Watford there. And we've seen late goals in the last couple of games as well. Is that something that you have to work on?
It happens in many, many games. I mean, we conceded a late goal against Leicester, which was incredible strike. And scored one ourselves. I think at the moment with, as I say, that sometimes it's due down to concentration, or lack of concentration. Yeah, I mean, it's something that you try to avoid, but you know, it's an ever-changing picture when you're looking at fixtures. Sometimes when you get in front, it's about just trying to manage the game to make sure you see a game through. And like last night, we were pushing for an equaliser late in the game and weren't able to achieve it. So it's, you know, I mean, when we've conceded goals close to either half-time or full-time, it's something that it can be an annoyance to you for sure. But you know, the players always work exceptionally hard here, and I'm very pleased with how they, for the most part, go about trying to achieve results. So it's just how it is.
And just in terms of balancing everything, obviously we know that the hectic schedule is there for everybody, but particularly at Burnley last night, we got the first real example of the heat as well, and what can happen when you play through the summer months. Obviously players have international experience of doing that in tournaments, but this is something new in terms of a domestic league season being played at this sort of time. Just another thing to throw into the mix of having to help the players adjust to.
Is that a question?
Yes, yeah.
Right, okay.
Just in terms of the workload and how the players are responding kind of early on with this schedule, and obviously throwing that into it as well.
Well, look, we've not had a great deal of preparation time. So 3.5 weeks is not really, you know, the players have kept pretty fit, but 3.5 weeks preparation time is not exactly ideal going into the situation that we're in. But the players have just coped with it very, very well. The fitness levels are good. Yeah, I mean, you've got to deal with playing in warm and hot weather, you've got to deal with it, you know, because it's the same for everybody. But likewise, there'll be players in our squad who actually prefer playing in heat rather than the colder months. So I'm sure that's the same within lots of squads. So I don't really give that a great deal of thought in terms of the psychological effects on it. I think really what it does create is sometimes recovery issues for players, because games like last night, players who played the full duration of the game will certainly need to make sure that every part of their recovery is right, you know, both in terms of nutrition, hydration, and the more physical aspects as well. So, you know, it's not straightforward turning around from one game to the next, but it's something that we have to deal with, and we will deal with, because I don't have any say over how the games program is put together. So we'll deal with the situation because that's what it is.
And just finally from me, of course, these are strange times, playing behind closed doors, but is there any advantage going back to Vicarage Road, at least it being familiar surroundings, the players obviously less travel, even though the fans aren't there to support you as they usually would be?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I thought we dealt with it really well last week. It was, I mean, normally the atmosphere at our own ground is great, and our fans get behind us and give the players an awful lot of moral and vocal support. But it's something that we all have to deal with. And I think I've said in other interviews that there are a number of players in every squad, I'm sure, who have an emotional attachment to match days with the crowd, and they just have to deal with it being different at the moment. So it's almost like having a very detached view from that and being able to go out there and try to achieve a performance as close to your best as possible. But again, it's another one of these situations where we don't have much control over it, and I think we all in the game recognise the need to get the leagues back up and running. Yes, we would all prefer to have our fans coming through the turnstiles into the ground, but it's not possible at the moment. So we've got to try and keep the industry going until that is possible, and it will be at some point for sure.
Thanks, Nigel.
Okay, no problem.
Hello. Click here to subscribe.